Open up challenges. It is all 0. Regiment challenges, all 0. Personal challenges, all 0.
Regiment 0, personal 0. Cool. Alright, mate, you ready? We'll get this show on the road?
We shall. Alright.
Alright, let's go. Start game. Let's do it.
What, are your legs broken? On your feet, soldier.
Oh boy, here we
What
go
if
again.
my legs are broken? Alright. Okay. Sakura, if you have a US citizenship, you are American. Alright?
And take that mask off.
I live in Australia. I am Australian. My grandfather is from England. My great-grandfather is an indigenous tribes member of Australia. I am still Australian. Let's not get caught up on semantics.
That military science has ever devised for keeping a soldier safe on the battlefield. The trench. The only way to get hurt in a trench is to get out of the trench. So we've made some small modifications to eliminate that need.
Now. I feel so high on my
Mechanical
chair.
legs, fresh water supply.
On my high
Yeah,
balls.
Latrine, cigar humidor, first aid.
I have the opposite effect. My chair sinks,
You can start by looking up at
and
the
it's very
sky.
annoying. Why are my controllers inverted? That is disgusting.
That's right. Quickly change the menu. This bit doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's all right.
We've got intel the tubes will be attacking our coastal ammo depot.
Alright, we're gaming. We're good.
Great. We'll be marking key assets for you to defend with these green flares. You can monitor the integrity of the ammo
This
depot with
level's
this
really
meter.
hard.
Make sure you defend those
Yeah,
assets.
hardest level in the game. Hello, Rocks.
Let's try some
How are
target
you?
practice.
It's been a little while. How's life been?
Now take aim at that fake tube target. Nice shooting, Marine. Destroying tubes will gain you experience.
Yeah, runs over, restart.
Higher ranks authorize use of better
Basically every BK run.
Your guns will automatically
You miss a
reload,
bottle skip and it's over.
but you can manually
So
reload
you
them
are
too.
down to do
Nice work.
a Crash
Don't worry
Bandicoot
about
speedrun
ammo.
race this year?
Yeah.
More than enough bullets for those two.
Yeah, it'll I imagine by then I'll be finished covering the series on YouTube, so I won't be all
Our intel
burned
is
out of Crash.
Come, soldier.
Is this your
It'll be good to revisit. It'll be fun.
I don't know how it'll go.
another
But
innocent
it'd be
man
fun.
to die in your place? When you
Well, yeah, if you wanted to do it in order, the good thing about us doing the Insane trilogy and not the original PS1 versions is the physics is consistent across all 3 games. We won't feel any different going from one to the next.
Oh, dude, I'd be so down to do
Direct your
the first
fire
one
on
one
those
time,
resistors.
and then the second one later, and the third one. I'd be so down.
We're expecting
Not
more
all in
waves
one
of
go,
tubes.
though. I don't know if I could
We'll
do
be
that.
marking their
I
contact.
think the world record speed run for all 3 back to back is like 3 hours.
Banjo runs.
For Crash, I'm so for my Crash Bash video I had to do some research on some mechanics, you know, as a former speedrunner myself.
That's the ticket.
If I wanted to know about mechanics about a game, I can't ask the developers, I'd ask the next best source, which would be the speedrunners. When speedrunners have a better insight on the game's mechanics than your average consumer. So I've actually had the chance to speak to a few of the Crash Bandicoot speedrunners, and they're pretty cool guys. They helped me out with some Crash Bash stuff, about some mechanics, and you know, now I have scientific backup to explain why the game is fucking trash. Crash Bash, the party game. Yeah. So I have scientific backup to say, all right, it is trash.
So it should be Crash Trash.
Yeah, pretty much.
Trash Bash. Trash Crash Bash.
Good job, Brain.
You have to thank me, Sergeant.
We're picking up a massive tube broadcast.
I just love saving America.
Handle this one alone. I'm coming for you.
Whoop. Stop attacking my base. There we go.
We got him, Marine. Damn tubes. Let's get you aboard.
All right, tutorial's done. Want to move my mic a little bit to the right.
I had the situation under control. You didn't
That's
have
I'll
to.
have you
better.
call me sir when we're in uniform.
Sir, but
No
You
time for
telling me,
chit-chat,
right? This
soldier.
this
The
video
situation's
game
gone. We finally
has
located
living
the soldiers
CRT
who
TVs, but
broadcast
science still
the
hasn't figured out like the cure for the iron lung at this point in time.
Nightmare after another to get there. So let's get started.
Yeah.
Oh, also NJC, I forgot to respond to you. There is no Doria because we've disabled most of the channel point redemptions for the speedrun.
One that's hell-bent on destruction.
Alright, and after tutorial we go beach, right?
Believe it or not,
You go straight into beach. No timer yet.
Yep, yep,
Thanks to your earlier efforts, the ammo
But yeah,
depot
after
is
the
safe.
level, don't
We have to get you-
customize.
yep.
Thanks to your
like,
earlier
say-
efforts, the ammo depot is safe. We have to get you back out on that beach.
beach.
Reports
Sorry.
from the front line speak of a new breed of tube, one that's hell-bent on destruction. Don't let them get too close or this ship's going down. Believe it or not, I'm not the best swimmer.
Oh, I just realized my audio is doubling up. Hang on a second. Wait, what's the other game audio coming from? What is that? Hang on. Monitor and output. Wow, I didn't realize my game was so loud. All right. Yeah, my bad. Can I go?
Thanks to your earlier efforts, the ammo depot is safe.
Wait, how do I start the mission?
That beach. Reports from the
Oh, that's right. I go to my mech.
tube, one that's hell-bent on this is your
I'm a little
trench,
tired.
Marine. Customize your trench.
There we go.
3 conduits have erupted just off the coastline. You'll need to protect the ship as we prepare to shove off. If they breach the hull, we'll never make it out of here.
I'm like an infection on my eye, and the light is hurting my left eye.
We're authorizing the use of the ship's emplacement cannons. We've deployed some emplacement bases to mark good locations for turrets. Let's get a shotgun turret down on the forward emplacement base to deter incoming tubes.
Flex 2. I have.
Shotgun turret inbound to your location. Each emplacement
All right.
occupies a section of the
First wave.
Keep the
2
boundaries
Tommies.
in line when placing them.
Easy enough, right? Next wave, 2 resistors.
They drop scrap. Collect the scrap, and we can use that energy to launch helpful emplacements for you. Your trench is
Oh, I haven't unlocked the magnet yet.
that you can activate to help collect scrap. Nicely done.
Might actually make the live split window a little smaller. Yeah, that'll do. That's better. Maybe move it down. No idea what that sound was. All I know.
Oh, mate, I'm smashing through beach, hey.
Is my microphone picked it up?
You'll need to watch our flank too. Get a turret down on the second emplacement base to guard the other side of the ship. Great.
3 resistors.
I've just had the blitzers spawn for the first time.
You can put emplacements almost
Yeah, I'm up to wave 4 at the moment.
You're putting down enough to form a solid defense. The tubes are getting stronger. Let's use some scrap energy to increase an emplacement's efficiency.
Yeah.
Good job. Now we're ready.
Turret upgraded. Let's go. Alright, now we're up to blitzes.
I must admit your tin man had made me very angry, so I have created a blitzer to deliver my displeasure directly to your troops. Can you see how brightly it glows? Red with rage, Frank. My rage for you.
Yeah.
But this one's coming after you. Don't let it get close. One of them blows up in your face, it could take your whole trench out of commission.
Oh, where'd you guys come from? Oh. Hello, dancing ninjas. How are you, dude?
I've spotted the enemy.
How's the family? How you was all going? Oh.
We're taking fire. Yeah, I got a gun too.
It's awfully early. No, it's midday for me at the moment. There we go.
The dampening
Yeah, it's only midday. It's 12:30.
the tube circuitry makes them slower than
Isn't it
discharge
awfully late for you at the moment?
shotgun turrets to slow enemies down in front of them. Good job, Brain.
Hello, Mrs. Phenom. How are you guys? 8:30 p.m. yesterday. Are we really 16 hours apart? No way. Alright, blitzes. Wait, what wave am I on? I've stopped paying attention. Well, 16 hours apart. I swear every year, we get further apart. But then I also forget, sometimes I think on UK time. I'm pretty sure UK time we're only 11 hours apart. I used to have a good chunk of viewers from the UK. It's hard for me to keep track of all the time zones, to be honest.
I think I'm nearly up to Big Willie, mate.
Enemies if you squint your eyes just right.
It'd be good if it showed the next round when the countdown's like wave X in how many seconds?
Oh, dude, right? You gotta wait
Yeah,
for that to then see it. So
yeah.
I need to know now.
I need to know what I'm prepping for.
Like, if you're not completely on it, you miss it. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. What
Just-
am I?
You gotta quickly glance at the first enemy that spawns, then look at the notes and go, okay, I must be up this.
Cross-reference.
Yeah, I must be up to this wave. Did you also have an instant transmission redemption?
Big Willie's down.
I only just figured out how to make it. I couldn't make it for a while because my webcam data transfer was like too low, and every time I tried to do it, my PC would freeze. Ow.
Right, the prep is nearly done, and then we can get on with it.
I'm stuck. Okay, hang on. I can take him. I can take him.
Congratulations, soldier.
This looks like the time to set up our defenses.
I think it's Big Willie now. Yep. Alright, we're up to Big Willie.
To attack your man or your sad little people. Wrong to scrape at the side of your sheep like a tiny barn again. I need to
I love how
seek
casual it is. I'm up to Big
responsible
Willie. Oh, yeah.
and I have just the thing to do.
Look, whatever brings you joy, mate. Alright, I'm up to the lobby, so I'm gonna go back to the title screen. I'm gonna re-enter my lobby just so it
Just call him
hopefully works right.
Willie.
And you should
Question.
just join on me.
Did anyone hear my front door just shut? Because if you did, I really need to fuck with my noise gate.
Well, they got the dampening.
No. Okay. Alright. Because I can see it like on the audio monitor, like the audio track feedback, the door shut. But hang on, why is what is going on?
Do, 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 do.
Okay, minus 15, but why is it going up to minus 5? I don't know, man. My entire OBS is broken.
Ship is set to sail. Come on aboard, Marine.
Are you talking about StreamerBot Dancing Ninjas? StreamerBot is phenomenal.
Frog, 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 frog,
I'm arrived. I'm here.
frog, frog, frog,
I
frog.
finished the beach. We're good.
Alright, you might want to exit the title and re-enter, just so it gives it that little,
So we can gives us a little bit of time to borrow.
Monovisions. We've got a new emplacement for you. The flak turret. Equip this beauty to knock his monos out of the sky.
Big bit of lurk, NJC.
You can join up with
All
our
right,
Marines.
exit to title.
Together.
and then once you're back in the lobby, see if you can join on me through Steam.
Roger, roger. And as soon as I join, timer starts, right?
Nah, I'll say go.
All right, cool.
When I say go.
All right, friends.
Stand by.
Where is my friends list? Here it is. Friends. I can only watch game.
We might have to like fully reopen the
But
game.
if I go to, I can invite you to my game.
Alright, see if you can do that. Why has
I-
it gotta be so weird?
I've invited you.
Report back to
I've
me as
received.
soon as you're ready to fight.
Accepting.
Don't take too long. There's a war on, soldier.
Oh yeah, I need to fix the big head as well.
Aha!
All right, we're in.
Excellent. Alright.
Give me a second.
So. Alright, you haven't done anything with your mech?
I have not.
Excellent. Alright. Are you ready to kick it down?
Yep. Give me a moment.
No worries.
And why is this not working my stream deck? All right, cool. Yeah, I am ready, basically.
Stand by. So be ready to hit the timer when I say go. I'm gonna count us down. I'll do a 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
The war effort has taken
All right.
back the airfield.
Let's do it. In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
All right, Frog. We got a lot of air units.
You can now customize your emplacement.
So this one, I figured if we both go half air, half anti-air, half anti-ground, we should be sweet.
Yep.
Experiment with
Got my sniper cannons. Alright, ready to deploy.
now you're ready to launch the mission.
I just gotta get my flak turret.
Yeah, big
And
head's a little
my-
broken. It needs to be fixed because it's used to my webcam being right there. But then I've got like a tripod and stuff. It's been moved to the right a little bit.
Now, double time it over to your trench and get your equipment sorted.
The most important item to buy at the start is the double fine paint job.
Welcome to the last operational airfield in all of your
You got a rep? It's alright.
Go look good, mate.
in erratic weather.
All right, first up,
Deliver life-sustaining supplies from this airfield.
we got aerials coming from 2.
Ensure they're able to continue doing so.
The problem with your thinking, Woodrow, is that it's just so.
So we'll go ham with a bunch of
Let me show
air
you the
turrets
facts
around the
used to
base, and
blow
then
up the
feel free to chuck down some shotguns at the
Ladies,
choke points,
televisions can
and we'll be sweet.
I didn't buy any shotguns or machine guns at the moment. Oh, and the sniper cannons.
That doesn't know that we've been developing flak turrets.
Oh, you're right.
Such an enemy. Get some of them on the field right now.
There we go.
You can prioritize ground. All right. We'll have from down the far end. So 3. We'll have some ground dudes.
Yep, we'll have some resistors, and then 1, 2. All right, cool.
Easy. Come and get us.
Gotta wait for the reload. Whoops. Gotta watch
Got him.
Aerials from 4.
Resubscription received.
Mrs. Phenom, thank you very much for the T1. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You didn't need to do that.
Come out.
Please enjoy your new emotes.
I'm not in the mood for this.
I appreciate that very much.
God, I make that look so easy.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Resistors and blitzers from 3.
3 is the long one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The long boy.
What do we need to do, Battlecat? Tell me.
Here they come.
And I'll just tank it. Go and get me!
God damn. Taking no prisoners.
2 and 4 aerials.
2 and 4. So 1, 2. Okay, so 2's to the left and 4 to the right.
Spotted the enemy. Getting attacked from the air. This is not good.
Leave me alone, Ariel.
God, I make that look so easy.
2 aerials, 3 blitzers.
Alright, I'm going to place some turrets down by 3.
Nice.
And
I love it. I like
if
it.
we're lucky, the blitzers will be taken care of as they run past.
Fresh meat.
Yeah, that works.
Nice.
There we go.
Tommy's from 3 and resistors from 4.
And aerials. Wait, what does lightning environmental mean?
Oh, that's where like
Oh,
the
yeah,
lightning
yeah. And
strikes.
yeah, your headset goes all fucky. Yep.
And it's like, get out of here.
Feel like you're being flashbanged.
High pressure system of destruction is coming your way. I will
Thank you very much, Battlecat.
unleash their
Oh, also,
fury upon your
Actually, that reminds me.
Farnsworth is brewing up a storm.
If you refresh the stream, is Corbs' name coming up? Because I did tag him, but I don't know how to do it properly. Back. So, but okay, in the title, it should have Corbs' name. And you should be able to click it and it should take you to his stream. Because it doesn't let me choose anyone from the drop down. And last time I did it with Hamadzi and him, I just typed their names and it worked. But Twitch are weird, so.
Cat knows my name. Oh, yeah, resistors from there.
More aerials. There we go.
Nice, nice, nice.
Right.
2 and 4 aerials.
2 and 4 aerials. Yep. 1, 2. Alright, I'll sit on 2. I'll use my sniper. How's your Australia Day been so far? I know it's just started. Kind of.
To me?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I made myself breakfast.
Good start to the day.
Had a shower, played some GoldenEye. I slept in a little bit. And just... Yeah.
Just your average day. Free day off.
Yeah, I think it's time to, we'll knock over a speedrun, chill with friends. I'll get some cleaning done around the house later. Stuff like that. I used to do, in my 20s, I would do the, I'd go to the parties where it's like, you listen to the Triple J Hottest 100.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really just because I just wanted to go meet people
somehow Heat Waves has been the #1 song for like 5 years in a row, yeah.
But I've never been I personally don't get the whole run around in an Australian flag cape.
Yeah, my family's never celebrated. My mum is vehemently against it, so.
Yeah, understandable.
Good idea.
I just hope people take at least a moment to remember the history, show some empathy.
Yeah, it's not much to ask for.
Mind.
And we have our moments of silences on the, the Anzac Day. Same thing can be done.
Countries, you got to remember the history about how we got to where we are now, like the sacrifices and the mistakes
100%
along the way. Because we don't want stuff like that to happen again in the future.
We are talking about Australia Day, ninjas. A very contentious topic in Australia.
Like, I think it's really cool how multicultural the world gets. Like now that, traveling's so easy and people move here, people move there. I think that's really cool. I just wish it didn't come at such a price.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, we've evolved, but at what cost?
Yeah. Just wish it could have been handled better.
Alright, next round. We're dealing with resistors? You're on wave 13?
Yeah, 13, yeah?
Think so.
Resistors and Tommies, or was that it? Or is this 2, 3, 4 aerials? This might be second last.
Me being American, what's the whole Australia All Day rundown? Alright, I'm gonna mute myself in Discord so I don't get all political on Corpse's VOD.
No worries, mate.
So I'll whip you right back. So the issue with Australia Day is, as with all modern countries, the US, Canada, Australia, every modern civilization has been built on the destruction of another. In Australia's case, it was the destruction and the stolen generation of the Indigenous Australians. And there's been a big push lately, maybe the last 5-10 years in particular. It started really cropping up and becoming more of a more social topic when I was maybe 14, 15, which was the need.
Nice.
Because, you know, essentially Australia Day is celebrating, it's, I don't even know if I can say the word on Twitch. It's celebrating genocide to an extent.
Don't forget to do the split when the victory text comes up.
Roger, roger. So a lot of people are wanting to push to change the date.
Next level, we want to have 1 artillery cannon each.
All right, perfect. We unlocked them, right?
Oh God, I hope so.
But yeah,
God, I hope so.
a lot of people in Australia
we
want
a light artillery cannon.
Want the date changed for Australia Day.
So
people are like, don't not celebrate Australia Day, but take a moment to remember what happened to the native people of Australia in order for the country to be what it is today. That's the rundown. Basically, I've butchered it heavily, but that's basically the rundown of the topic of the conversation. All right, I'm back.
No worries, mate.
I'm gonna find weapons.
Have an artillery cannon, and then I would recommend, if you're ever in doubt, a shred machine guns will help us a lot on the run to get that extra scrap.
With some explosive weapons to combat this. Also, watch for aerials coming across the water.
Change my chassis.
Oh, I'm on the wrong mech. I was inspecting yours. Like, why can't I change anything?
All right, artillery cannon.
Oh, I can't afford the shreds yet. All right, that's all right.
I'm ready.
No worries, I won't be long. My weapons are ready. I've got flak turret and shotgun turret. Yep. I've got my artillery cannon. We don't have fast legs yet, do we? No. All right. So eventually we'll be splitting up. You'll take left, I'll take right. Do you have anti-air turrets?
Maybe? I don't remember checking.
That's right. If not,
I did change chassis.
I'll put anti-air in the middle. But yeah, you want to, because you prioritize. Did you do left or right last time?
I don't know. I went shotgun. Just shot what was never closest to me.
That's right. Well, you take left, which is 1, and I'll prioritize 4, which is right. But I'll come help you for a bit because the first few waves are here.
Come on, hit him.
Oh, I think I hit 1. Yeah, boy.
Oh no. Reloading. Got him.
Nice, clean. And then we got resistors from the same lane, and then breakers again.
All right, I'll just camp here.
Yeah, this lane's your baby, and then sub over into the middle when it's quiet.
Roger, roger. Oh no, like that's of course be curious. Dancing, like I appreciate when people want to educate themselves genuinely and don't like being smartasses about a topic they're not really educated about.
And breakers. Oh, can we hit them as they spawn? Get ready. Get your shot. Oh, do a prep shot to see. Oh, if I go a little
higher.
Yeah. All right, I think I'm good.
Go!
Fire!
Got him.
And did I hit him?
No.
Oh.
It's alright. So it did big damage.
I'll get this, the one that got by,
Oh, I didn't even see him go past. What?
down. You're right. Alright, now I peel off to 4, so there'll be resistors. And then you'll have breakers and Tommy's next wave.
Yeah. Happy birthday to your little brother, Battle Cat.
Let me know if it doesn't get there.
Bobby, you know how many...
Baby cat.
Bobby, do you know how many times I went to message you on Facebook and I've searched for Bobby? Because I know you as Bobby and not David. That's why I nicknamed you in our messenger Bobby. Because now actually when I search Bobby, you come up. Every time I go to message you, I'm like, why the fuck can't I find Bobby? And I'm like, wait, no. Real name's not actually Bobby.
Oh, I think I hit one. Yeah, I did.
You now have 3 of them.
Woohoo!
Why are they all so injured? What happened? Got him.
Nice.
Why don't they just
Add teachers at school. What do you
From
mean?
mine?
I don't think I've ever asked the origin of your name.
confirm?
Why is the nickname Bobby? Bobby's in his 40s, I'm 42. Alright. I'm going for a Hail Mary shot.
Oh, I already got them all, mate.
Oh,
Oh, Tommy's from yours.
yep, I see him.
And then it'll be... Oh, I've lost track of where we're up to.
I believe we are up to wave 6.
Oh,
And
yeah,
now
so
we're
it'll
up to
be
wave 7. So next is aerials.
All right.
Okay, that's worrying. Just got a phone notification. Xbox allegedly shutting down the retail manufacturer for their physical games.
Oh man.
Bunch of people just got laid off from Microsoft as well.
Yeah, it's like every week it's like it's Riot and it's this and it's
Yeah,
that. It's like
it's been wild. I mean, we live in the darkest timeline, dude. Like a company will be like, we made $48 billion in profit, so now we're firing half of our staff.
Oh,
It's so fucking stupid.
I fucking hate it. We got stuff from 4, bunch of blitzers coming through, and some idiots.
There we go.
Cool. Big Willie from 1, and breakers from mine. So we'll
All right,
see you on the other side.
let's
Good
get
luck.
them.
Godspeed, Frog. Godspeed.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
That's the best. It's got to be one of the best lines. It's cinematic history. Oh, can I help from here? Okay, let's fire!
Come on. I don't know. Oh, so close.
I nearly hit him.
Yeah, if he wanted to move a little faster, you would have hit him.
Ah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got some splash damage though, because it did hit the building right next to him. Willie, mate, you need to calm down, alright? Alright, Willie's out. He's down for the count.
Oh, we were in sync. We finished our groups at the same time. That's all we can ask for. Aerials from 2 and 3.
Yep. I'll chuck down some turrets.
Alright, we've got plenty of anti-air. Wait, what are they doing there? Those are shotguns.
Yeah, in case the Tommies get past me.
But they go to the building.
Do they?
Yeah. What are you on about? Oh, I hit him in the air.
Come on, just hit him. It's not that hard. How could I possibly miss with a giant explosive shell?
Aerials from all, I think.
Aerial swarm.
Fire! Ah.
With this close to greatness. You're only 18 months apart. Battle Cat. But you still refer to him as your baby brother. You're one of those people. If I was your younger brother, I'd be so mad.
Breakers and blitzers from yours?
Yep.
Oh, can I get the shot?
It's
Firing!
the same energy as Twin saying,
Oh, does it hit? Does it hit? Does it hit?
"Oh,
Did that hit?
it did."
Let's fucking go!
It's the
I've played this
same.
game too much.
It's the same energy as like the twin that was born first, saying they're the older twin, even though they're like 30 seconds older.
And then it'll be blitzers from 1 and 4 and aerials from the mid.
Holy shit, the blitzers are wrecking me. I might go down. No, we're good.
You're alright, mate.
He enjoys feeling younger. Yeah, now that he's like 40, I imagine when he was a kid, he would have been like, no, not a baby.
I'm not a baby.
Blitzer attack. I got this.
Or fall back if you need to, man, if you feel like you'll go down from these idiots.
Not so tough against my artillery cannon, are you?
Oh, I'm definitely going to go down.
Come
Oh,
to
wait,
the
maybe
middle.
not. Hang on.
Oh, you good?
Oh, my shotgun turrets are doing their jobs.
I'm smelling diesel.
Yeah, I knew they weren't useless. Oh, but a blitzer come from behind me. Didn't see him there.
All good, that's alright.
Just to kick his ass all the time. Ain't nothing better than waking up to sibling abuse.
Basic bitches from 1 and 4.
Okay. Hit him. Nah. Overshot.
Guns aren't ready yet. Taking damage.
Got him.
Let's set up some defenses.
Then we have a big Willy from 1. And breakers. Breakers from mine and aerials from the mid.
Breakers. Oh yeah, Big Willy from 1, Breakers 2, Aerials 3, Breakers from 4. Alright. Well, let's get Willy. Oh, nice shot.
Mate, too much practice. This is getting silly.
Go down, Breaker.
Nice. So mine's done, so I
Willy.
can come up with yours. Go long! Oh, let's go!
Okay, hit a Breaker, that's good.
Nice.
Get down, Big Willy. Got him?
Good
Wave
shit. We're in
complete.
sync.
I miss the shit out of this game. Played it on the 360. It's only like, actually the sales are over, but I think it's only like $15 on Steam.
Yeah, it's cheap as.
Worth getting.
Alright. Next level, refinery. So you take the left, I'll take the right. We go on the high ground when needed, we go in the middle when needed, and we just help out how we can.
I'm buying some shotguns.
Oh, this one you'll want medium to long range.
Okay, machine guns it is. I'll swap back.
To shoot down to the middle if you need to.
Yep.
And bring mines. You arm the left lane with mines. I'll do the right lane with mines.
The mine layer pumps out streams of explosive landmines. The boys have put some camouflage.
There are
Long
no
story.
breakers.
What didn't go up?
But yeah, I found with less than 3 people, having a running shotgun guy.
Well, if it makes you feel
optimal for some levels.
If it makes you feel any better, Battle Cat, I am one of 4 children. I'm the oldest of 4 children. And the only one that was actively planned was my youngest sister, because my mum kept going back for kids until she got the girl she wanted.
Oh my god!
Alright, quick, customize trench. Our weapons, goodbye artillery cannon.
There are no breakers in this one.
Find placements. Black turret. Sprint legs.
Sprint legs.
Up by items.
But I'll tell you now, it wasn't me. I would have said something if it was.
I'm ready. I was playing.
Shred machine guns. Yeah, and I've got mines. You got mines? Equipped?
Oh, no.
That's right. Let me know as soon as you've got that locked in.
Oh, I can't chuck them on.
You got to change to the Selka chassis.
Alright.
Selka Mark 1. Maybe don't worry about it, because we got 13 seconds. Or can you unready up?
No, I cannot.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Alright. Fuck.
So you don't have mines?
I don't have mines.
Alright, I'll be mine boy. Can you do you have shotgun turrets?
Yes, I should. Yes, I do. Yep, perfect.
Can you put shotgun turrets, like, on that and that? On
Roger,
both
roger.
sides when you get
When I
money?
get some scrap, yes.
Just because the Tommies sit at the top of that and shoot down. So if we can't be there, we can still
I'll chuck down some shotgun. I'll chuck down a shotgun turret now. I was planned. What do you mean? How could your mother plan you? She's 15. Your mother is a child. Bro, the most I was planning at 15 was, do I want a chocolate sundae or a chocolate McFlurry?
At 15 for me was, do I play through Halo 2 on Legendary again? Yes.
Order complete.
She went to classes and planned me? That's wild.
I think it is only fair that we have this
Couldn't imagine.
level playing field. And by level, I mean free of all these tiresome turrets.
You did your split?
I'm sending down
Yes.
Nice.
destroy them all.
Haha, but we have mines, you idiot. You stupid idiot.
Stand between us.
Stupid head.
The burst transmitter can't see your camouflage emplacements. Use mine generators to shut them down.
then we'll have Tommies from both.
Get the
mids.
scrap.
Oh, you grab that. I'll be ready here.
You can only do that, Battle Cat. You can only do that.
We know if it doesn't get there.
Got him. I got him. Go to sleep.
Placement confirmed.
And we more idiots from the middle and gas worms.
Not only does my gas attack serve to obscure,
I don't know, man.
but it has added benefit.
I think parents definitely have a favorite kid.
We can't see anything through that gas. Find the source and take it out.
Where are the wormies? Yeah, I see one.
Bursts from the middle, and then it'll be big willies from the middle, I think.
No breakers on this map, so we're good. Yep, Big Willie from 2 and 3. Never. You've never had a favorite child.
Gotcha.
Well, maybe you're an exception to the rule, but I swear parents must have a favorite kid.
Frog,
Yes.
you're putting down flak turrets.
Oh, I forgot to press 2.
We need shotguns.
Alright, I can place down the shotguns now. He's a bit beefy, isn't he? When I was screaming, I got leadership of Scrim Team Alpha. Fuck yeah, dude.
They're gonna come from top right in a sec.
Alright, placing down the 2 shotgun turrets.
Here they come.
Good idea.
Get him.
We're taking fire. Ah! Taking damage. Ah! Friendly. This is not good. Yeah, I got a gun too.
Got him. Free loot.
And then middle lanes and gas worms.
Congratulations, Tiger. How'd you find it? Was it fun?
Tubes over there.
Tommies and blitzes and worms. 1 worm down. 2, 3, 4. Oh god.
Nice work, Marine. No room there, soldier.
And then it'll be Tommy's from top left.
I'm running.
Confirmed.
Over there. Taste this. Yeah, I got a gun too. Taking damage.
Come on, go down.
Negatory. Need more scrap.
This is not good. All right. That's the last.
And then resistors from here again. And then also resistors from top right. And idiots in the middle. So I'll go, you stay top left, I'll go top right. And then we'll go
Work
to
our
middle.
way down. Yep. Perfect. I'll try and
Otherwise, shoot
drop
them
some
out.
shots. Alright, here come the resistors.
Damn, I can't reach. Nice.
Easy.
Marine.
Fun, but got a little
Noise
heated near
from
the
middle,
end.
And blitzers from the sides.
Both schools kept yelling at each other. Someone started yelling, so managed to keep together. Hey, is it a you know, a co-op game if you don't start insulting each other at some point?
That spot's no good, Marine.
Here come some resistors. Right over there. Taste this.
Blitzers are coming. Shotguns doing their job. Thank you. Kind of, not really. Got him.
Nice.
On for now.
And then normies
Resistors.
from the middle, and bursts, and worms.
It's raining scrap.
Alright. Shotgun dart's doing its thing. Hell yeah. Got him.
Nice. That's always a good sign. If the waves, two separate waves are dying at the same time, that is an excellent sign. Tommy's from everywhere.
Oh, you had viewers watching Tiger. Yeah, that can be rough.
Oh. I'm going up left. Oh, you're on the right. Perfect.
Come on, Tommies.
So much for you, two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Tommy's from one.
Looks like the time to set up our
Burst in the middle. Big Willie in the middle. And Blitzers and Tommy's from 4.
shotgun turret, sir.
Alright.
Well, you can see if you want to go right, I'll stay left, and we'll just kill them as they come.
We're almost done.
That'll teach them. All right, here we go.
Taste this.
Oh God.
We're taking damage.
My willy is down.
Yeah.
They're out on base.
I'm just, you know, pumping him full of lead. Trying to.
Cool.
Let's gas up that trench and get you back on board.
Not good. Plus 53.
Alright, pile on time, so Big Mac, reload legs, and fast shooting high damage things.
Roger, roger. Oh, I see my... Wait, what are you talking about, Battle Cat? I'm a little tired. I'm kind of scattered right now. Oh, yeah, Bobby. So when I first started streaming,
We've remedied
we did 2 Nuzlocks. We did Leaf Green and Soul Silver.
before you go down.
We called them frog locks because my rules made everyone wanted to throw themselves into lava in Minecraft. How you going, Risky? What's going on, man? The Willie's down. Can't relate. Can't relate.
This mission's a little different, Marine. We're going on the offensive. We've reached the northern pylon, which seems to be the source of the broadcast. It was the broadcast that started this whole mess in the first place. And destroying this pylon should end it all. At least it better.
All right, I'm ready.
Yep. Go,
All
go,
right.
go!
Looks like there's a large cluster of
Should do radical red.
destroy them. Broadcast and end this war.
Talking to a friend about coming back to Nuzlocke, but I don't know. Maybe we'll think about it.
Vlad,
What record the stream? Maybe we're already in the red.
we'll have a baby with.
How are you, Eggy? Welcome, dude. Welcome in. Soul link it? That'll be rough. Do a triple soul link. Me, you, and ShamWow.
That target's shielded, Marine. Try a different target.
Oh, we might be able to PB here. Maybe.
Got a moment to reload. And be ready, fire!
We wrecked. Come on, we're so close. Oh, I have no health. Come on.
Hear that? Silence.
Now we're talking. Just triple, you know. Triple souling.
I noticed you've still got flak turrets equipped.
Did I? Oh no,
Yes.
I just chucked on all my turrets that I had, my machine guns.
Oh, for times like that, soon you'll want to buy the better shred guns.
Yeah, okay.
So for this one, I'm gonna go up on the top left, and I'm gonna go medium to long range so I can shoot down to help
Yeah,
you.
I am going back to shotguns.
The true source of the broadcast.
Are you able to bring some machine guns as well?
Yes.
Like a mix? But yeah, you'll be prioritizing the far right lane, and then the middle when you can. Machine gun turrets in the middle to cull the numbers of the knobs.
Perfect. Yeah, machine gun will help with that to long range them. Oh my eye. Started a Sonic of Rad Red, but he wiped before Sabrina. Really? Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Move.
That's alright, just...
I'm inviting you back. Move, move, move. It says I've already invited you.
No, I've got a...
Alright, we're back. I invited you there.
I just rejoined my lobby. I'm accepting the invite now.
Alright, you're in. Customizing my trench.
And you select the mission beach? Sorry, Oasis?
I'll do that now.
Thank you.
Alright, Oasis selected.
The cable has led us to a small oasis in the middle of the desert.
Shop, buy items, buy weapons,
Set up camp.
shotguns,
Only access to fresh water in miles.
I want
shotguns.
to buy the Carlson chassis, the one that's got 3-3.
And try not to blow up all the palm trees.
Shop, buy
Wants to make a special
items, chassis.
Africa coconut.
I am broke. Oh, McGarry
alright.
though. McGarry's good. McGarry has 5.
Yeah, the Ripper from the store is the best shred machine gun we have access to. But we can't use it... Oh, it's $700 each, so I can't equip that yet.
My core. Change legs, sprinting legs. Alright, ready.
I won't be too long. I'm just double checking shit. I probably want to keep my loading legs because I'm going to be up high away from you and I want to be able to shoot more. Emplacements, I'll go that. And you got the machine gun turret emplacement?
Yes.
Check for me.
Yep, makeshift flak.
No, flak's anti-air.
Okay, makeshift machine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, you go that, and then then I will have the flak to put at the back for the vault droppers later. Yep. So you put machine gun turrets watching each of the desert lanes.
Yep. So the left and right, or middle 2?
Middle 2 and the right.
Okay, cool.
I'll be sitting up on the top left. And then also put like machine gun turrets to then watch over the machine guns in front of them.
Yeah, because the knobs.
So they're covering each other. Yeah. And then we should be good.
Alright, 1 Tommy's.
Alright, we got a bunch of aerials incoming.
Oh, we should be good.
So if I sit here, I can see my lane and other places. Alright, let's see how good of a shot I am.
Give me the
Knobs
scrap.
from 2.
Knobs from 2. Okay, got them. Zeroed in.
Nah, well that's 3 technically. The note said 2. But yeah, middle. I'll just say middle for those ones.
Yeah.
It's so vague.
By swarms of my explosive darlings.
Hey, that was rude.
Into those knobs
Yeah.
and use some machine gun turrets to protect your other
That's right, the
bases.
turret survived. Good shit. And then it'll be Tommy's from mine and Knobs from somewhere for you.
Bro, he cheated.
Yeah, it's like we can't do anything during the cutscene. That's not fair.
Gun down here, sir.
That's stupid.
Alright, Knobs. Yep. Coming from the right, but in the middle.
Nice.
Breezing.
Tommy's from mine. Blitz's from right.
Yep. Oh, wait. We're trying, Mrs. Phenom. We're trying.
I've spotted
Ah, my nose is itchy. I swear it's the lights. I only ever get like an itchy face and eyes when my stream lights are on. Really weird. It could be a nervous tick, actually. I didn't even think of that.
Let's set up some defenses.
Burst and Tommy's from mine, so you get a little bit of a breather.
My shotgun can like shoot its shells. That's cool. They're explosive.
There's a burst transmitter. Watch out for his grenades.
Nailed it.
Big Willie from mine and resistors from middle or right for you.
You're good with the big willy?
Yeah, man.
Alright, bet. I wonder if Dopey has got his response from DreamHack yet, because I know he applied for the creator pass.
I've been expecting to see that on his Twitter any day.
I'm yet to receive mine.
I did see they're doing a bunch of waves.
Yeah, because I had to join their Discord and message one of the staff members. Because so I applied when the first wave was announced. And when the second wave was announced, I clicked on the form and it says like you've already submitted this form. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Tommy's and Knobs from far right.
Roger, roger. And then a couple weeks have passed and I checked the form again and it was asking me to submit my form again.
Oh.
So, and they said on their Twitter they'll be notifying creators like regardless of acceptance or rejection, like they'll be told. So I asked in the Discord because I go like I'm not sure, because last time I asked, last time it says I'd already submitted my form, but this time it's saying it's not. Like I'm just wondering if my form actually went through the first time, or it had bugged out.
I hate that fear.
But I got a response. I got a DM from one of the DreamHack staff members, and they said, "Can you send me through your email?" And I have like 3 different content creation related emails.
3?
Yeah, so I have my one for my Twitch account, one for my business stuff, like my Ubisoft stuff, and then I have one for my PayPal.
Oh my god.
I couldn't remember which one I used to apply for DreamHack. So I sent them through, and they said, "Yeah, your application's still here, thankfully."
Good.
They just have to cover it. So I'm like, "Yeah, cool, no worries." Like, no rush. I was just worried I'd have to submit it again, or not. Thankfully.
You're gonna have Blitzers down the middle and Tommy's from far right.
Placing down some turrets.
I would have liked to apply for DreamHack. It's just I can't.
it'd be a lot.
For time off everywhere.
Yeah.
For everything.
And it'd be a lot. If you lived in Melbourne, but you're like,
Yeah, that'd be fine.
yeah.
Or if it was at least a decent, an okay drive, but it is not.
Oh yeah. No, it's not.
So, I've had to say, because I've already gotten time off approved for PAX and South by Southwest again in October, and then I've been invited to the Generosity Slumber Party, so I gotta save time off for that. So
Oh, that's what what did I bring up?
Game Expo, DreamHack, I'm gonna have to miss.
Yeah, my Game Expo application got rejected.
Oh, you know your Game Expo one?
Yeah, that got denied. Which I wasn't too like worried about. I was like, you know, it just
well, you can't have them all, I guess.
yeah, better luck next time, you know. But my friend, a friend of mine, his DreamHack credit pass got accepted, his credit application.
Nice.
I'm hoping mine gets accepted and then we'll be able to see each other. It'll be pretty fun. I'm also waiting for PAX passes to go on sale. I think they go on sale sometime in April or May.
Yes.
I want to apply for the Omegathon early.
Oh, mate, I reckon you'll get picked.
Hopefully.
So and then I think we got a bunch of aerials and knobs.
I mean, even if I don't get accepted to the Omegathon, I'll still be going either way.
I will see you there.
Gotta wait for the reload.
Yeah, these shotgun shells exploding are pretty good. Do a bit of area of effect damage. And that's what I was gonna bring up too. We spoke about it about like a week or two ago now about hosting a race on Genos. Did you want to do that for Crash?
I reckon we can propose it.
Yeah, we could, you know, have a chat.
Look up. Those vault droppers are capable bombers.
Oh, I'm gonna have trouble hitting this idiot.
Yeah, so am I. Come back here, coward. Stop flying in the air where I can't hit you, specifically. Got him.
Okay. Knobs from everywhere.
Alright, knobs, let's get them.
Need a machine gun down here, sir.
Oh, they're coming. They should be good in the center. Machine gun's taking them down. Is that all of them? That's all of them. Right, it was only 3 of them.
You're gonna have a bunch of stuff, but the main thing is you're gonna have Tommy's on the far right. I'll be right with Big Willie top left. Once he's done, I'll come help.
Yeah, we should be good. When was the last time you turned off your PC, Tiger? That could be helpful. Sometimes my PC is like a toddler. If I don't send it to sleep, it'll get really cranky.
Nice. Next level, I can tell you, mate, with all certainty, that there are no breakers. Which is nice to know. Now this one, you were the bridge boy last time. This one, we got to sort of do left and right, and then sub into the bridge when we can. So this one, you want like, you definitely want some flak turrets to put near those high left and right points for the aerials, and then you want like shred machine guns and long range, mid to long range.
Firepower for you. Sniper turret can get to those hard to reach places. Troops won't be able to even get close to you.
I wonder if I can buy a broadcaster yet. Buy weapons. Get rid of the shotguns. Shop. Buy weapons, machine guns, rippers.
Specializing in the treatment of radiation migraines, electrospasms.
Yeah, the great all-rounders and extra scrap.
This hospital provides care for hundreds of soldiers every day.
Oh,
As
yeah.
this war rages on, we'll need those troops back at our side. It's vital that they receive the treatment they need to get back on the battlefield. We've got word that snipe tuners are perched outside the hospital. If you fail, it won't be pretty. And
All right.
we'll know where to patch you up.
Ready to go. You said flak turret, yeah?
Yeah, you'll need a flak turret.
Yeah, done.
Actually, can you bring machine gun turret? And I'll put anti-air down.
All right.
You put
Machine gun turret done.
focus the ground lanes, and I'll focus the anti-air lanes. The turrets.
It stopped lagging after I quit out of the game. Yep, that would probably help.
So I'm just selling a bunch of shit.
Wait, you can sell stuff?
Yeah, if you need extra cash.
10 seconds.
Shit, that'll have to do.
This hospital is currently operational.
Oh, I've still got my reload legs on. That's all right. That's all right. We're not moving around too far. But yeah, we want to focus on all the other lanes, and then once they're done, then deal with stuff that's on the bridge that's probably made it to us by now.
Roger, roger.
So we want turrets at the end of the bridge, ready for when they arrive, and then watching over the back 2 lanes as well, please.
They are getting shredded.
Oh, where'd my notes go?
Guns aren't ready yet.
Watch your head. Coming scrap drop. There's the burst transmitter. Watch out for grenades.
Gotta wait for the reload. Taste this.
Nice work, Marine. Roger.
Alright, machine gun turrets being placed down.
No one knows you like hiding, Frank. We alone have shared the vision. We are bound to each other. I can see to your soul.
Alright, I have snipers. I have a sniper cannon as well.
Good, 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 good.
Far away, I might add.
I remember these freaks.
Get some long-range weaponry on those snipers. They'll tear your trench apart if you don't take care of them quickly.
Guns aren't ready yet.
Nice work, Marine.
Got him.
Okay. resistors from the bridge and snipers. If you want to deal with the bridge, I'll go the snipers.
Yep. Oh boy, he's shredding.
We got Tommies and resistors coming from the back two lanes. I'm gonna go
I'm running over.
left.
Alright, you're left, I'll go right. Run.
This one we probably want to fall back to base because we're gonna have a bunch of
Snipes,
bullshit.
Blitzer's charging you. Quick, take him out.
God, I make that look so easy. Take a deck.
Got him. What specs are you running, Tiger?
And some snipes.
Alright, should be good.
Gotcha.
Die, tube. Hurry up and reload. Come on.
Alright, bridge is cleared.
Thank you.
Guns aren't ready yet.
Oh, there's one more.
That's what you
Yeah,
get.
nice. Thank you. Aerials from bridge and the air spawns.
Alright.
Gotcha.
Here they come.
Come here. You should be running from me.
Getting attacked from the air.
Got him.
Just give up.
Big Willie from the bridge and snipers.
Yep, I need one more scrap. Oh, sweet.
Shotgun turret, sir. Fresh meat.
Come on, Willie.
Here comes Big Willie. These guys are tough.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes. Gotta wait for the reload. Die, tube.
Alright, Willie's down.
Snipers down. Tommy's from the bridge, Blitzers from the back. So we'll deal with the bridge and just let the idiots come to us.
Need a shotgun turret, sir. Blitzer, I got this. This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes. We're taking fire.
Take no prisoners.
Ready yet?
Easy.
Snipers, Tommies, and snipers and Tommies from the back.
All right.
Let's take out those snipe tuners. Die, tube. Hurry up and reload. Come on.
Come here, fool. Where are they? I see them.
Snipers are up.
Taking damage.
Got them.
What's up? Or blitzers and resistors from the back. Maybe. Maybe depending where the normal guys spawn, we'll stay close to each other. Because
Yeah.
What's your health like?
1/3 left.
Yeah. I might have to throw myself at the blitzers. You're not killing us! Is that more? Do I hear more?
I think one stuck, maybe. Oh no.
Oh,
That'll shred them real quick.
Gotta wait for the reload.
There
just
we
so
go.
scared about the blitzers. We got a bolt dropper, Big Willie on the bridge, snipers, and just some normies from the back.
All right. Hopefully the sniper I have will be able to take care of the vault dropper.
Affirmative. Look up. Those vault droppers are capable bombers.
All right.
Should be doing something.
Nice.
Fucking nice. All right, snipers are up. I'm close to one group. My group's down.
My group's down. Big Willie. One down.
You deal with the other Willie. I'll go back for the normies,
Yep.
and then I'll rejoin you. Oh, we got more snipers. Oh, dude, I need you to kill a group of snipers.
Where are they? I see them.
One group's down. No, sorry, one left in that group. Yep, that group's down. Don't let them kill you. Take cover if you need to. There's two more on the other side, dude. Two more snipers.
Yep. I'm reviving you.
No.
My health. I'll survive. My health's good.
All right, if you're sure.
Go.
Thank you. All right, you deal with the snipers. I don't have the range for it.
Okay, I'm down.
Shit, I gotta go for him. Fuck.
Yeah, I hate sitting still.
Nice.
Oh, that was a little scary.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hooey.
Hey, we still PB'd.
Oh, dude, I was like, oh no, we're gonna get a mission reset. That's alright.
Oh.
I didn't know there was more snipers. Okay. This one... can you go? I need you with an artillery cannon, at least one artillery cannon and whatever.
Yep.
And then just pack as much firepower as you can. Have a anti-ground turret.
So shotgun.
I gotta bring the little mech for mines.
Okay, perfect. All right. I'm gonna find
Machine gun
weapons.
turret's good. Machine gun turret for you, please.
Artillery cannon. God damn.
We're deploying a large artillery cannon just inland from the port in an attempt to penetrate the enemy forces. We expect that upon arriving at the
Ooh.
port, tubes will try to take down our ship. You must clear the area so that we can safely deploy the cannon. Once the artillery is in place, defend the area until it's clear for us to send in our troops.
Alright, modify emplacements. Black turret, yeah?
Machine gun turret. No
Alright.
air in this one.
Alright, perfect. We're good. Shop, buy items. Buy weapons. Alright. Ready.
Right, let's do it. So the first phase,
Looks like our
I'll show you where, if you could just put down 2 machine gun turrets, and then save your scrap for phase 2.
Roger, roger.
So you can just put them like kind of near each other, like here and here. Just so they're watching each other's backs. Breakers are coming down the middle. You break them and I'll shred them. Good shit. Nice, nice, nice.
Yes. Give me all the scrapped. Alright, can place out another turret.
I'm gonna be getting lots of mines down in these middle lanes for phase 2 ready.
Alright, perfect.
Please clear the target area. Don't let those snobs get close to you or they'll blow.
Time to pick up some scrap.
More scrap. Okay. Burst and Tommy's this round.
There's the burst transmitter. Watch out for his grenades.
Alright, scrap's looking good now. Save it for next phase, yeah?
Gotcha.
Yes, please.
Yep, perfect.
Blitzer's charging you. Quick, take him out.
Oh, Blitz is behind us. Got him. Wow, they did a lot of damage. Okay. We'll be fine.
We got breakers on the left. Oh, he's going for the shot.
Damn.
Ah.
And breakers on the right.
Oh, they're coming over the bridges. Help me, frog. Help me.
Back, demon.
Thank you. Bar behind you. Yep.
Really? You couldn't hit me? Couldn't give me with a 2-for-1?
And then knobs incoming. Whoa! Break it down the middle. Good stuff.
Let's set up some defenses. What can I get you?
Don't you tell me what to do, Mr. Sergeant Man. At least I can breathe of my own volition. Alright, behind us.
Help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Tommy's coming from the center. Got him. What's next? What wave are we? Wave 7? Wave 7. Breakers, breakers, knobs and breakers. Okay. Got him. Berthas.
That's all you Marines know. Can you even imagine creating something instead of tearing it apart? Let me introduce you to my dear Bertha, so that she may serve as an example. Behold the miracle of creation as she fills the battlefield with her children.
Disgusting. Take down Bertha before she spawns too many gnolls.
Come on, she's got to be low. Nice. All right, next is blitzes.
Phase 2, reposition!
Yep, yep.
That's a long cannon.
So we'll just be sort of looking, prioritizing far left and far right from phase 2's base position.
Over there, secure the area.
Because I've got lots of mines in the middle lanes.
Yep.
Some of that scrap.
So we'll just see what's good. Ah!
Oh, blitzer got me.
Dude, I'm on so fucking little health. Oh fuck.
Oh.
Oh, we're good.
Just spend some of that
All right.
Okay, but yeah, I get some turrets down around the base, just so we've got like a fallback point. Do you have a repair turret?
No.
Oh fuck. Okay. Okay, you got more health than me. Next time there's blitzers, I'll just run at them. Okay, Tommy's on the right. Oh, that was a little scary.
Just a little bit. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Oh, I'm down. That's right, that's good timing. That's good timing.
Give me the scrap. Thank you.
that won't work.
Breakers, oh.
Hail Mary. Oh, what's-
Oh,
Oh, your
yeah,
mines.
the mines should break most of them, so we'll just be doing cleanup.
Most of them, you have just
Blitzers
cleared the
from
left
far
side.
right. Bok. Oh! Here they come!
Got him.
Let's set up some defenses. What can I get?
That'll learn him.
Good idea.
That'll teach him.
Yeah, get out of our desert-themed level. Huzzah! does! Burst transmitters. That's another way.
Go!
Mines there.
Oh.
Oh, the splash! Nice. That's why you put the mines there, because they can't shoot them. Bursties. Bunch of shit from the left.
Got him. Oh, behind us. Bursties.
Open fire!
Come here. Got him.
Good stuff.
That'll teach him.
I'll go put down some more mines.
That won't work.
You mean it won't
Probably
work?
overkill with the mines, but fuck it.
I mean, it's destroying them as soon as they leave. Oop, behind us.
Oh, both sides. I'll go the other.
And my side's cleared.
Just a handful of guys here.
Got
I'll
'em.
collect the crap.
More coming.
Forward and back to base camp.
Request one machine gun.
On a roll.
Yeah. Enough turrets.
I feel very safe from the next inevitable blitzes. Bursties there. Nothing else yet. Oh, Tommy's from the left. I'm going for them. Thank you, mate. I'll clean up. Running home. Run home, Charlie!
And go.
Good stuff.
Marine.
I think breakers again. Breakers and
Breakers.
Bertha.
From the right. Breaker's on the right. I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Hail Mary! No.
Go for the right ones. The
Yep.
mines will deal with the others. Nice. Done.
Move,
Go,
move,
go.
move.
I'll push you.
Oh, wait. Oh, yep. Come on, hit.
No,
Hit.
and nice. And we got more from the middle. More from the, yeah, middle both. Knobs from the middle.
Easy.
Good stuff.
All right. Bertha. Blitzers and Bertha. All right.
Watch out for Big Bertha. She can spawn new units on the battlefield.
The mines should deal some good damage. She did not even get a chance.
Other one, oh, far left.
Yep.
Blitzers. Oh, the mines should thin them. We got another Bertha
Another
coming from
Bertha, yep.
right.
Yep, right. Come on. Yep, that'll do. Splash damage, hopefully.
Another
Bertha
Bertha
down.
from somewhere.
Yep, center left, so inside. Come on, hit. Yeah. Got her.
Yeah. Smash pushing them. Good stuff. Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Now, next we got Sinkhole. No breakers. This one, running legs. We'll both have to roam for this one.
Yep, yep.
Shred's good, but then, yeah, whatever suits.
I might stick with that same loadout. The artillery cannon is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's good to have like that massive damage.
Yeah.
In them, and then you can still be trickling other damage while it reloads.
I'm gonna try and find another chassis that has 6 slots.
There's one at the in the shop if you haven't unlocked
Oh.
one already.
Let me double check. Or chassis. Yes.
It's time to get offensive.
Modify weapons.
In a sinkhole near the end of the cable. The plan is to dig at this spot and deploy a massive
Triple shredders.
underground to damage the monovision infrastructure. It's not going to be easy. All that digging is likely to stir up some trouble. And to make matters worse,
Placements.
the hole is wide open, so you'll be getting
Alright.
from all sides.
You know what? I'm ready to go.
I'll be one second. I'm just buying more rippers.
Roger, roger.
Got that, and then emplacements. I need standard machine gun turret and bitchin'. Let's go. Let's go!
Sequence has been initiated. There's really nowhere to hide at this point.
And as usual, the lane 1 is the one with the ruined gate.
Well, let's just not let that
Yep.
happen. Blitzer's charging you. Quick, take him out.
Resistors from lane 1.
On it.
And then blitzers from lane 4.
Blitzers get a little bit scary in these runs.
Yeah, because they spawn in such numbers, you can't really tank them.
They could be run-enders. Like
Yeah.
You get a mission reset. Oof.
Run's basically dead then.
Yeah. So the run's all about just don't die
Hey,
too well.
we're 3 on my, I don't know about yours, but on mine we're 3 minutes ahead of port.
Yeah.
3.5
That's it.
minutes.
Hell yeah.
Juicy gold split.
Resistors from here, and then snipers going up onto the ridge
Ah shit, I have no
from
anti-sniper.
4. No, that's alright. They'll walk up to the ridge, and you can hit them from below.
Alright, cool, cool, cool.
Or you can cut them off at the spawn, whatever works for you. I've got one covered.
Careful. The troops have a sniper on the field. The snipe tuner.
Alright, come on. Show yourself.
And it'll be resistors from 1, I've got that. Bursts from 2, and there'll also be worms. Also blitzers from 2 as well, so be careful.
We can tag him. We got him.
Funny that you happen to choose this location to launch an attack. The sand is crawling with my miniature bird monster. And your really isn't making them happy.
Oh. Bertha.
From one. That's the main threat.
Watch out for Big Bertha.
The worms will be taken care of.
Bertha down.
Perfect. Blitzes.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Got him.
Shotgun turret, sir.
Resistors from everywhere. Lane 1 should be right.
Fresh meat.
I'll go to 2 for this one.
All right.
He was hiding around the
That's the last.
base from me. I couldn't get a shot on it. I was like, you cheeky shit. Bursts from everywhere in a mo.
I need to tighten my boom arm. It's a bit loose. The microphone keeps moving away from my mouth.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Oh, bursts. Worms. Worms dealt with.
Not so tough against my artillery cannon, are you? Taste this.
Whoop.
They took out
And
Got
then
'em.
Tommy's from 1 and Snipes. I'll go cut off the Snipes.
shotgun turret, sir.
Perfect.
Here they come.
Hello, buddies. They're like, we just got here. Like, oh, act up. You're gonna have Tommy's and bursts from 1 next.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes. Need a shotgun turret, sir.
All right.
This is not good. Ah!
Got him.
Now, Big Willie from 1. There'll be 2 of them.
Yep. I'll camp him.
Shotgun turret, sir.
The old reliable.
Here comes Big Willie. These guys are tough.
Peel off some extra scrap.
He didn't
hi,
stand a
Mike.
chance.
Get the fuck out of here. Where's the other one? Or knobs? Oh, yeah.
Let the knobs do their thing. The center's surrounded by shotgun turrets anyway.
Nice.
No, not gonna happen.
1 is the gauntlet.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck. Good luck to whoever spawns at 1.
The last lane is
Oh, there's
3 bursts, so
bursts.
we should be good for that. Oh shit!
Sorry, Tommy's.
I was foolish to think my couple of turrets would kill this group. Whoops.
Sorry, we're good.
Resistors
No
from
biggie.
1, knobs from 3. Surely the resistors can't make it down.
They do, I'll be surprised.
Here come some resistors. Right over there.
Oh, they got through. They survived the gauntlet.
Oh. Tommy's from everywhere. I'll go wait for them at 4. And then I'll come back. Oh.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Oh. They're coming from somewhere else.
Diesel. That's not a good sign.
Aha!
Not so tough against my artillery cannon, are you?
Why don't they just give
Alright.
resistors.
From 1, burst from 2.
Alright, blitzes I might have trouble with.
Turret, sir.
That could cause some problems.
Oh, here.
Oh,
Not sure how much longer she can hold it.
thank you very much.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Nice.
3 berthas from 1. And a bertha from 3 and knobs.
Alright, I'm gonna take this 5 seconds to get a few sneaky repairs in.
Shotgun turret, sir.
just a bit longer?
Alright, let's do this. Nice.
Alright, I'm gonna go sub over to 3.
All
I'll
right,
come back when mine's dead.
Roger, Roger.
Run, 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 run! Bertha down on my side.
Yep, other one hasn't spawned for me yet.
Should have. I'm just mopping up some knobs.
I'm on Bertha. Got her? Nice.
Yeah. We got the boss one next, so reload legs and damage for dues.
Four minutes ahead.
4 minutes ahead. Let's go. Let's keep it up. Oh, mate. Whew. Come on.
I'm gonna swap out to all machine guns. And my Hornet's fire legs.
Yep, we gotta, the reload for this one.
The cable has led us here to the southern terminal. It was once a beautiful place, but now it's home to Farnsworth's desert fortress. We must find Vlad and put a stop to this madness.
Ready?
Cool. God, my brain hurts.
Well, Woodruff, what do you think of what I've done to this place?
I think it's a damn shame. Another wonder of the ancient world, consumed by your insanity.
I'd rather be a wonder of the modern world, Frank, than anchored to the old world like you with your feet of iron.
Oh my god.
Don't forget to find somewhere to just fortify and just turrets. When you get scrapped, just throw a turret down around you.
Negative. No clear target area.
Keep an eye for those worms. Fire! Good.
We are demolishing them.
Yeah, it's just like. Brr, brr, brr. Oh, big boy! Oh!
Like, look at that.
Nice.
It does not stand a chance, honestly.
That won't work.
Oh, I've got my ring of machine guns around me.
Yep.
Good.
I'm just upgrading mine now.
No room there, soldier.
And worms. Good. Oh. Good.
Get
Where's he
wrecked,
gonna
kid.
spawn? Where's he gonna spawn? Over there.
Come on. Yes.
Nice. Jolly good.
Worm is dead.
Alright, don't forget to change your legs.
We're coming for you, Farnsworth.
So this one, I'm gonna do what I did last time where I had like half anti-air, half machine guns, and I'll put just like a big row of anti-air along the back for the vaults.
Yep.
If you can go mid to long range, no breakers.
Perfect.
The guardian of the southern terminal was dead.
All
We
right,
were free to enter Farnsworth's desert fortress.
just a handful to go.
Or not. Unfortunately, Vlad must have heard us
Uh-oh.
knocking.
I think you're gonna disconnect. Do you skip the credits?
Based on
The
the-
cutscene?
No.
Welcome to Africa.
Alright, we're in. Wait, can you skip the cutscene?
Oasis in the middle.
Yep,
I disconnected.
that's all right.
Alright, inviting you back, then choosing village. Come on, move, 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 move. Alright, invited.
Accepting.
Choosing village.
Thank you.
20 years ago, I visited the same village.
So change legs back to run.
Different circumstances. There are 3 huts.
So you wanted medium to long range, correct?
Yeah, and there's no breakers.
Perfect. Alright. We have machine guns.
Oh, don't ready up, don't ready up.
No, we're good.
Sorry, I made a mistake. I just need to quit one more flak on my right side. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, yeah, I've got machine guns on that side, and then in placements I need to change my machine gun turret to standard flak, and then I've got a repair turret. You'll have like machine gun turrets or shotgun turrets. Yeah, I'm good when you are.
Alright. Away we go.
2, 3, get it? There's 3
All right.
huts.
Aerials from 3 up
So we can
first.
track that bastard down.
Alright. Let's do it.
Watch out, you've got some aerial enemies now.
And then we'll have resistors from 2 and 5.
Order complete.
Nice. Bursts from 2.
Your headset's got a little bit wonky.
We got bursts
There
from
we go.
left and right, and some snipes
Alright.
in the middle.
I will be able to take care of the snipers just fine.
I'm on the
And
left burst.
There's the first transmitter. Watch out for his grenades.
Get some of this.
Die, 2.
get one tapped homie.
Nice work, Marine.
Aerials from 3. Tommy's from where you just were, and there'll be some tentacles.
You've done surprisingly well until now. But how will
I'll
you
deal with the
get
aerials
out of
in the
those
middle.
silly little turrets? My static worms will render your emplacements useless.
Oh, they're coming from there.
I would explain to you how this works, but your puny brain would never understand.
Vlad is shutting down your turrets. If you can destroy those static worms, they should regain function.
Nice.
Alright.
Resistors from 2. I can be ready to smack them. Hello? Nice.
Nice work, Marine.
Aerials from 2.
Request 1 machine gun emplacement, sir. Fresh meat.
Frog, my mate, Lord Hardnips was in chat just before.
Oh
He
yeah.
says in the future he would be down to be our 4th.
Oh fuck yeah.
He used to play with Madsy back in the day.
Just go.
Aerials from 5.
Just go for the whole.
Yeah, we'll have the whole.
The whole.
mate.
Yeah.
Do
The
you reckon
whole.
you'll ever do a solo run?
Actually, someone brought it up earlier in chat.
Yeah.
I think it was Sakura. I could be wrong. You know, would you ever go for a solo? I was like, I don't think so. I'm like, because this is Corb's game. Yeah, like I'm just along. I'm along for the ride.
Well, if you're sure, I wouldn't mind. I'd love to see it. If you ever get the urge, go for it. All I would recommend if you do want to do a solo ever is just watch how I do Volcano, because it took me lots of practicing to do Volcano solo. I had to be all over it. That was scary.
These machine guns are not good
Ultra
for
beam
long
coming
range.
up. I'll go get ready for him.
Alright, well, my sniper only shoots one bullet, but I imagine that's because it's like giga strong.
Request one machine gun emplacement, sir.
So hopefully Vault Dropper can just pop it and go away.
Look up. Those vault droppers are capable bombers.
Oh my god.
Nice! That's what we want.
Need a machine gun down here, sir.
Yeah, the strap for this level is great. Like the
Dude.
the run of turrets that he comes literally right over.
He didn't get a chance to live.
No, he didn't have a chance at all. He didn't have a chance at all. So good.
Die, tube.
Coming to back you up. Shooting around your right.
Take it down. Hurry up and reload. Come on.
Got some tentacles.
All bursts.
Oh! No. Fucking dickheads!
Got
Get
'em.
out of here. Resistors from 2 and 5.
Come on. Alright, resistors. Show yourselves, cowards.
Tube.
Got them.
Friendly.
Resistors. We need... Can we even ping in this game, or is that not a thing?
If pinging's a thing in this game, I've never seen it.
Because it would be very good. It would be very helpful sometimes.
Request one machine
Oh, we got aerials from everywhere coming up.
Alright.
God, I make that look so easy.
Are we still ahead?
Yes.
Oh, mate.
According to my splits, yes.
They breached our defense.
Get out of here. Snipers coming up. Blitzers from 4 and Tommy's from the far right.
Alright, I'll be able to take down the snipers just fine. The blitzers are just freaking annoying, dude.
Yeah, they actually make me a little bit scared. Solo run. Oh, solo run's alright because you can't actually die in a solo run.
Yeah,
Two
yeah, it's just...
player?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alright, snipers. I'm copping it from the blitzers.
My god. Oh.
I've got a hydraulics leak.
Sniper tuner down. Ooh!
All right. That's
Aerials from 1 and 4 and bursts from 5 incoming.
I need to place down a healing turret.
I'm
I don't know why that made me laugh. My character just goes, I can smell diesel, that's not a very good sign.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Oh, that's not a good sign. It's so like, oh, it's like, oh no, what a bother. Oh, that's an inconvenience, but it'll be right.
I think the floating CRT TVs are a bit of a more of a problem, but you know.
These TVs want to kill me. That's a bit of a drag. Vault dropper, vault dropper, vault dropper. Resistors from 2, some snipes, and resistors from 5. I'll be ready to deal with the vaults.
Yeah. Just place down a healing turret.
Just one last stand.
Where are the snipes? Oh, nice. Another vault dropper. Snipe tuners. Nice.
Very good.
Get wrecked.
Alright, on to power plant. Okay. At least...
Have some sort of lead.
do you want to bring the artillery cannon or I? Or we probably both should to be safe. And we can stagger our shots. So 1 artillery cannon and then probably shreds.
Yeah.
I'll bring anti-air turrets if you're able to bring machine gun or shotgun.
I'll bring shotguns.
I'll have our anti-air coverage sorted.
Been a little bit since I've used a shotgun.
Seems that Vlad has modified some of our old equipment in an attempt to locate whomever or whatever is behind the broadcast. If we can get it powered back up, I should be able to do the same.
All right.
Steps. I'll need you to clear the power plant of tubes so we can obtain the power necessary to run the equipment. There are a few buildings they could target, so stay alert.
Guns. Rosie. And then broadcaster. Oh, hang on, wait, machine gun. I don't like the heads trimmer. I want something a little faster than that. Alright, I got shotguns and machine guns. What else did you want me to bring?
Artillery cannon, please. Nah, you're right.
I can swap out my shotguns for artillery, I don't mind.
Shotgun or machine gun turret. And then you're good.
Advanced shotgun turret. Let's go.
Bitchin'. So I'll break the breakers, and you mop them up, and you focus the Jacobs.
Oh, this fucking map.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Say no more.
This fucking one.
Say no more. God damn.
That's right, all of the anti-air covered. Aerials from here. Come on out.
Watch out, you've got some aerial enemies now.
I think the fuck not.
They're like, ah! Back into the angle, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it. Back in!
Back into the TV.
I've been a fool, Frank. So
Jacobs. Oh,
I've been so open.
Yeah, Jacob's incoming. These little shits.
Needed freedom of information.
how annoying.
I've left my messengers completely unprotected. Sometimes you must shield your signal, and that is what these new creations of mine shall do.
Take out
Yeah,
that
yeah.
It's protecting all the other tubes around it.
Jacob down. Hey, don't run, coward. You're gonna eat. You're gonna meet your demise one way or another. I'll just unplug his. How's that sound? How does that feel?
Affirmative.
I'm going back for the resistors, and then I'll come back and join you.
Roger, roger.
Go long. I'm probably not gonna hit him, but fuck it. Oh, the little bombs that dropped off hit him. Eat shit and die.
Coming.
Shotgun turret, sir. This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Blitzer's charging you.
Jacob's down. Nice. Get wrecked.
Let me know if it doesn't get there.
All right, breakers. Good shit. Got him. All gone. Resistors coming from the back. Got him.
That won't work. There's a burst transmitter. Watch out for his grenades.
Jacob's down. Got him. Goodbye.
Need a shotgun turret, sir.
Oh. All right. We up to part 2 now? No, Big Willie this round.
Here comes Big Willie. These guys are tough.
Getting attacked from the air. Dive, tube. Gotta wait for the reload.
Alright, Big Willie down. Oh, from the back.
Shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Oh, aerials. Alright, now it's part 2. Resistors. How you going for health?
I have quite a lot of health.
Yeah, so do I. I'll save my scrap. Five resistors. One. Okay.
Drop the turret, you piece of shit! Panic. I'm sorry, just drop it!
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Nice.
Some scrap. Here they come. Ah!
Oh, excuse me. Ask for permission before you blow up on my face. Holy shit.
Nice work, Marine.
Here come some resistors. Right over there. This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Go to sleep. Alright, now I put down my repair turret. There we go.
Some scrap.
A repair turret incoming.
Need a shotgun turret, sir.
Oh, breakers. Got him. Hell yeah.
Die, tube.
Oh, Tommy's. Goodbye.
Time to pick up some scrap.
Alright, blitzers, aerials, and resistors. Plus Jacobs.
No need to do it on your own. Use some of that scrap.
Here comes some resistor. Ah! Quit shooting.
Yeah, those aerials did not stand a chance.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Alright, I think we go back to position 1.
Off we go. Aerials, bursters, and Jacobs.
Get back up there.
Shotgun turret, sir. Here they come. We're taking fire. Ah! All right.
I'm very close to another repair turret.
Scrap was made to be spent, soldier.
Alright, one's dropping over here if you need it.
Commander, I need a repair arm down here.
Next round, aerials, breakers, and Jacobs.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Wow, the breaker's using himself as a shield against the Jacobs. Alright, they're down.
Quit shooting. I'm getting attacked from the air.
Nice. Sheesh.
Shit!
Oh, damn.
Hectic, man.
That was
So much
close.
going on, my brain's like, oh, shoot the thing!
Here comes some resistors. Right over there.
Come on.
Shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Frog, I'm down!
I'm coming.
Are they coming? You guys to help?
Yeah, I got heaps of health. I camped the... There's a repair turret over next to the base if you need it. Should be good though.
Here comes
Good.
some resistors. Right over there. Ah!
Go, go, go. Got him. Oh, fucking lot of aerials.
Oh, jeez. Sorry.
Oh,
Guns aren't ready yet.
wait, what? I can't believe I haven't thought to ask, but what's the monometer?
That's sort of like another hint of what wave we're up to.
Will help peel
Oh, okay.
those tubes.
Yeah, every time we go up a wave, we do a wave, it ticks over.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it would be nice just to have a fucking number.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't have time to guess. Is there guys coming from the back?
Yep, resistors.
Alright, I'm on it. They have a cave troll.
Taste this.
Fuck you, Jacobs! Eat shit and die. Alright, that group of idiots. Oh, they got one left. Alright, back to the front line. Blitzers from the back, just be careful.
Yep, my health is about halfway. Should be good.
Oh, I'll go for the second, Jacobs.
Come on, Big Willie. Big Willie down. Come on. Die.
Fire everything! My god. Alright, tell me if we're still ahead once we get the split for this.
Let's get this equipment
Oh,
powered
I clicked it too early.
We are actually 25 minutes ahead. So depending on how fast, you know, we could be looking at sub 3 hours.
Dude. Let's keep it going. Alright, this next one. It's no air. I don't know. I don't know if there's breakers.
I'm looking through it now.
I can't remember.
No breakers.
No breakers.
No
so
breakers.
Medium to long range. And machine gun turrets or shotgun turrets, whatever you pick. Whatever you pick, I'll go the other.
so that we can gather supplies.
So medium to long range, you said, correct?
Yes, please.
Intel has picked up some large long-range tubes in the area. Make sure you get some emplacements guarding the perimeter.
What are you going?
I'm going all machine guns.
Machine gun turret. I'll bring massive shotgun turret. And I've got all shred machine guns. I'm good.
I'm good.
Let's do it. Do you want left or right?
I want you to defend the 3 pieces of that ship and secure the supply.
I'll go left.
You go left, right. You focus left, I'll focus right.
Make sure to get some emplacements on the perimeter, or we'll be in trouble.
Oh, you guys are
What am I
screwed
doing?
now.
I'm right. Where are you going? That's right.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing, mate? Ah, but yeah, we ahead?
We are 26 minutes ahead.
Oh,
25
mate.
minutes.
Giddy up.
So, depending on how, if no issues, we should be looking at sub 3.
Mate. That's exciting.
It is.
Looks like there are more coming.
Need a shotgun turret, sir.
We have 2 resistors and resistors, 1 and 3. I don't know what hit him.
All the way out there.
Yep.
Running!
Goodbye.
Defenses. What can I get you?
Next round, 2 and 4 resistors.
I think these are around the other way.
Maybe.
So 1? 1 and 2 are open. Huh. Oh.
Oh wait, we're on round wave 4. Never mind.
Oh, I see.
So wait, okay, now we're on round 5. Resistors and 1 blitzers, 1 resistors, 2 blitzers.
Copy
Wait,
that.
how did I go down?
Oh, weird mines drop on the ramps.
Cool.
They'll kill you, so keep an eye, check them before you go for a run along them.
Yeah. Alright, blitzers.
put a turret in the face of the spawn point. That's
Yeah.
what I think of you, you damn monsters.
That'll teach them.
So we're up to 6.
Now we're up to 7, I think. Because we just finished round 6.
Need a shotgun turret, sir.
Let's see.
Oh, no, now it's 6. Yep, okay.
Oh, you got the burst? I'll go the resistors at 2.
Roger, roger.
That's quite a bundle, battle tanker. Frog, are you able to do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
And run to 4
Sitting duck.
for this one?
1, 2, 3. Yep.
Vlad is rumored to have some long-range artillery monovisions in this area.
Ooh, he's running.
Placements on the perimeter, or we'll be in trouble.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye, bursties.
See you in hell.
And they're gone.
Looks like there are more coming.
2 and 3, Jacobs and resistors.
2 and 3 James. I'm at 2.
Alright, I'll sit around 3.
That Jacob is protecting all the tubes around him. Take him out.
Shooting. Shotgun turret, sir.
Then
All right.
Artie at 3 in next wave.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Goodbye.
Right, let's go sit at 3, ready for Artie. Come on out, you big idiot.
Frank, I am begging you, hear me now, as you heard the broadcast with me years ago.
Stop speaking.
And together we can
Please.
prepare the world for peace. Oppose me and face peace. I believe your men call him Artie, just before they die.
Yes, because that's the last thing that comes out of their mouth.
Give it all you got.
He's like, ah, look at my new creation. Alright, 1 and 4. I'll go to 4.
Yep, head over to 1.
I'm dead.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
no.
not gonna lie, I don't even think Artie tried, to be honest. He's like, nah. Can't be fucked, man.
This is too much. I didn't sign up to be an artillery unit.
Come on. Show yourself, cowards. Spawn, so you could despawn. Oh, I didn't even get the prompt that they spawned. How rude.
And the next will be 2 and 3 resistors and Jacobs.
Alright, I'll head to 2. Alright, here we go. Oh, they tried.
Resistors from 1 and knobs, and the other side as well. So you go 1, I'll go 4.
Yep, I'll head up to 1. Tuck myself down a cheeky repair turret. Patiently waiting for them to spawn.
Mine just died.
There we go. Took their time.
Then we'll
Easy, dude.
have, 2 and 3.
Yep, I'll head to 2.
My group barely got out of their spawn because I got all the shotgun turrets. 4 resistors and burst. Alright, I think you get a little break.
I'll head over. I'll get rid of him a little faster. Then again, by the time I actually get over there.
It's alright, someone will probably get by me. I'll whittle them down for you. Yeah, the resistors are getting by me, but I can get the bursts. Bursts are done. So much scrap.
Goodbye.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Alright,
2
Artie.
and 3, Artie. Yeah. Shit's about to go down.
It didn't go down so hard for Artie last time, so he didn't know I hit him. Alright, you good with the blitzers?
Spawning in to die. That's funny. Done on my side.
Yep, blitzers are suffering. Bye-bye, Artie.
I'm gonna put down some shotties here for you.
Alright, next is 1 Tommy's, 1 Tommy's and Jacobs. Oh, sorry, 1 Tommy resistors, 3 resistors and Jacobs.
Right, going to 3.
Get wrecked.
Bertha at 1 and 4.
Alright. I'll chill around 1. Try and get a few stray shots. Alright, come on, Bertha. Time to sleep. Goodbye.
Oh, I got some resistors from mine.
Yep. Coming over.
Thank you.
All right.
Last
And
one.
Artie and Blitzers. Two and Blitzers resist. Or okay, 2 and 3 have Artie Blitzers resistors, and Jacobs, and 4 has Tommy's.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Yeah, Artie's not going to last very long. Yep. Goodbye. Blitzers.
I'm just tanking them. I think they're done.
Yep, Jacobs over at 3. And Blitzers. And Tommy's. So resistors. Anything else?
Artie and 2.
Artie, yep. Nice.
Shotgun turrets go brrr.
Now, let's locate Vlad.
Thank you for
Alright.
sticking around, Battle Cat.
So Volcano, we both got to have an artillery cannon, and then shredders.
Okay.
I will bring anti-air turrets. If you can bring shotgun turrets, please.
Roger, roger. Mr. Krabs, how are you, my friend?
Mr. Krabs.
How's your Australia Day treating you? So, artillery turret, correct?
Yep, and shred.
Shred. Shred machine guns?
Yep.
Alright.
Now buy them if you have to. There's ones at the shop for they do shred plus. Yeah, replace your flak.
Yep, yep. Artillery cannons, deadly rain.
Your deadly rain looks to be the one. I have
Machine guns.
my...
I have flak plus shred for my machine guns.
No. You don't want flak for ground units. It's really weak.
Machine guns. We have shred plus.
Shred plus. Yep. Ripper. Should
Yep.
be called a Ripper or something. Alright, I've got my anti-air turrets. I've got artillery cannon. I've got 3 Rippers. I'm good. So yeah, make sure you got your shotgun turret, shotgun emplacement turret, 1 big artillery cannon, and then 3 Rippers on the other side. And then we're good.
Yep, 3 Rippers on the left and my artillery on the right. Modify emplacements. Advanced shotgun turret.
Do you have the massive one?
I can buy it, maybe.
You should. It might already be equipped.
Buy. No, all I have is the advanced shotgun turret.
Really?
Yes.
No, I've got it.
I do not have a massive one.
Yeah, just go the advanced.
Alright. Yep, we're ready. And away we go.
Alright.
Alright, I'm in place. Remember, it's me you're protecting this time, so don't let them get close. Watch my back.
You're hung over,
So if you
Mr.
want to
Krabs.
focus 1 when there's breakers.
Where's
is
one?
one over
Yep.
there. Breakers come from there, and then breakers come from the opposite side, and I'll go to them. So this one, resistors at 1. And then we got breakers from 1 and 4, so I'll go to 4.
Get you.
Roger, roger.
The deep voice fits Frog. How so?
Oh. 1 and 4 resistors and Jacobs.
1 and 4. Yep, I'll sit at 1. I don't know, Sakura. I feel like I have an unusually high-pitched voice a little bit.
Oh, 1 got by me. The run back of shame.
Alright, I got him.
Thank you. Resistors at 1.
Roger, roger. No, it's not bad. Your accent doesn't seem to sync though. Oh, because I don't talk like this because I'm fucking Aussie. I don't talk like a fucking bogan. It's because I was surrounded by people that spoke like this all my life and I fucking hated it, eh?
Yeah, sometimes it's like, man, you know you sound like a fucking...
A derelict?
magpie hunter, right?
Sound like a... fucking...
Big
yeah.
Willie and Bursted 1.
Well, Crabs, if you wanna catch up before tonight's video, you still have Crash 2, 3, and Crash Team Racing to go through before Crash Bash goes live tonight.
Here comes Big Willie. These guys are tough.
I don't know. I don't think what do you reckon, Corpse? Would you say Australia? So you know how in the UK, right? You can kind of distinguish where someone is from in the UK by the way they talk, like their Worcestershire accent or their Yorkshire, not Worcestershire, fucking Yorkshire accent. You know, you can distinguish that. Would you say Australian has distinct regional dialects?
I can't say for sure. The only accent differences I can tell with with Australia is you can kind of tell how rough someone lives based on their voice.
Yeah, yeah. So I think
like what kind of school they went to or what kind of job they've got.
So from what I see, I've noticed people from Queensland, they seem to carry themselves a little more. They're a little more confident in the way they speak.
Oh, yeah?
People from Melbourne, we fucking mumble. We are mumblers.
Ugh.
Like we speak too fast and we mumble over our voices. It's gross.
Battle Tanker puts it good. Yeah, we got Bogan, Normal, and Posh.
Yeah, I'd say that. I wouldn't call people from Queensland posh. I feel like they just carry more weight in their voice and they're more confident in the way they present themselves.
Getting attacked from the air.
Oh my god, I actually hit the aerials? That's huge.
Such a good feeling doing that.
I think you're mistaking confident for loud. My mum's very loud and she is not confident.
Which one are we up to? I think we got Breakers and Jacobs at 1.
Let me check. We are up to wave 8. So Breakers and Jacobs at 1 and aerials at 2. Where's Xandos? I don't know. Good question. Honestly. Dude's probably just vibing. Probably out being an adult.
Cool. Then we got Bursts at 1. And I'll go for the aerials at 4. I'll go for the aerials at 4, mate.
As a Queenslander, I always think people in South Australia sound a little more British, and I can usually tell when someone is from New South Wales or Vic. Do I sound like I'm from Victoria? Do I just sound like I'll punch on with someone and I think the best thing we have is coffee?
For me, it's like from their accent, it's just like they either sound like they're nice or they're a dick.
I feel like because of the way I was raised, I feel like depending on the time of day, I feel like I have a rough attitude about my voice depending on who I'm talking to.
Some people lack self-awareness.
I would have thought you were from a more rural place. No, I'm born and raised in Melbourne.
Fucking race in
With
Melbourne,
like
eh?
the Eureka Skydeck and all that shit.
Give us your fucking wallet.
No, that's Frankston.
I'm like, they're gonna ask my fucking wallet, or they're gonna ask for a light, or they're gonna ask for a cigarette.
Oh, that's just Melbourne train rats. Hey, Braz, you got a lighter? You gotta reach for your lighter, and they catch you off guard and punch you out for your wallet.
You got $5? Not for you, I know. I once had some kids ask me in a car park, you got $10? Like, yeah, but not for you. Like, fuck off.
I used to know someone. I went to school with them, right? And they'd sit to make money. This was back when we were like 14, 15. They would sit at the local shopping center.
Oh, God.
They'd go down with their mates and they'd tell their friend, here, bro, take my shoes. And they'd take his shoes and they'd fuck off. And he'd sit there and ask people go on past for like $2, $3. Like, I've got to buy new shoes. And then he'd go buy himself like a deck of ciggies.
That's so scummy.
Yeah.
Like, if you're really in a desperate situation, fair enough. You got to do what you got to do. But like, you just
no, just for
fucking piece of shit.
Just because you're craving some nicotine.
Like, that's fucked.
Yeah, the high school I went to was a little rough.
I don't know, man.
Look, all I'm saying is, by judging by the high school I went to, by all accounts, I should be a drug addict. All right?
Dude, I had to put up with all the... Like, yeah, I went to a private school, but that does not... Like... My parents, when I was in school, were not rich. So I had to, like... I was, like... I just had to put up with all these, like, fucking posh, arrogant douchebags.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking shit, dude.
Well, I don't even know if I can say this. I don't know if it's Twitch TOS. Our local private school, I thought it was an urban legend. I thought it was a myth. Right? I thought it was just something people say about the posh private schools because we all go to public school and we feel bad about ourselves. But basically, at our local private school, it was a mixed school. So like male, female, all that good stuff. Co-ed, that's the one. See, you can tell I'm from Melbourne because I'm not educated. And the rumor was,
all the artists there were educated.
The rumor was, which turned out to be true, was a bunch of people were expelled for it. Was you give the girls $5 and they take you into the bathroom for a little bit. And if that doesn't scream Melbourne private school, don't know what does.
Well, in the town I grew up in, we had 2 girls' private schools, and they were intense in both were intense in different ways. Oh my god.
Why don't you spend some of that scrap?
And it's so lame, like, and then like, I remember once going to a party with some mates, and then they learnt we were from one school, and then there were guys from one of the other guys' private schools, and so they fucking
yeah. Oh, we got a punch on now.
Fucking tires.
Yeah.
So
that's a
lame,
fucking
dude.
that's a dick move. I guess that's one thing.
Anything.
That's one thing I can, like, I guess I can account to, like attest to. we didn't really have school rivalries. It was really like everyone just kind of knew we were all scummy as each other, I suppose. It definitely depend on it was less school rivalry, like, oh, you go to a different school, so now I've got to cave your head in. And it was less that and more, oh, like, okay, I feel like Melbourne adopted the whole postcode gang mentality a little earlier, because it was like, oh, so for example, I live somewhere near Point Cook in Melbourne, and there's a neighboring suburb called Werribee, and it was always like, oh, I'm from Point Cook, you're from Werribee, so now we gotta fucking punch on.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that's lame.
It's kids fighting, and I used to sit there and like my cousin would be like, yeah, just go. He's like, I just got back from bashing 10 people at Werribee. I'm like, why? He's like, cause they're from Werribee. I'm like, oh, okay.
There's already enough layers of bullshit in human society that separates people for no good reason, and then people then have to then add more layers on it with like school and suburb rivalries. It's
very stupid. I've always thought that stuff has been very stupid.
Like, adding to that is just so pathetic. Like, we don't need more excuses to not get along.
Oh, what a hit. Yeah, it was, high school was a weird time. I was like at the right age to experience the emergence of cyberbullying. That was fun.
Oh, God. Cowards. Alright, what wave are we up to?
Good question.
Where are we?
What year is it?
Who am I?
Wave 17.
Fucking hell.
Jacobs. I missed.
So 18 is bursts from 1 and Tommy's. If you can go do that, I'll deal with the blitzers coming from 3.
First, alright, I'll head over to 1. I hated public schools. I'm sorry. I had to go to one.
Frog, I'm down. Lots of blitzers incoming.
Oh no. Alright.
Lot more coming. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm surviving. Okay.
Right. You got a minute to come get me?
I'm coming.
No blitzers in wave 19.
I'm running. Oh, there's 2 snipes.
I copped up, bloody. They bloody got me, Frog.
I need to res you before the snipes appear.
Alright, burst over at 1.
I need heals. Hang on.
All good. I'll deal with 1. You keep an eye for those snipers.
Yep, keeping an eye out. I see him.
This shredder gun will help peel off extra scrap from those tubes. We're taking fire.
A wave going in from the other side. I forgot. I didn't read it.
Oh. Okay.
Last wave, we got a vault dropper coming in. Aerials, resistors. Artie from 2? big Willy from 3, and a big Willy from 4. So we'll just react as they come.
No, I'm gonna camp next to the healer.
Just a bit longer.
Alright, I'm on.
Die, tube.
Damn, this vault dropper. Artie's here. I'm gonna go for Artie.
To be defending that.
Aerial's down. Going for the Willy at 3. Blitzers incoming from 4.
I'm fighting Artie.
Oh, I might deal with these blitzers first. I'm fucking nervous. Willy coming from 4. Oh!
This damn vault dropper.
It's alright, the anti-air will deal with him in time. Go for the Willies.
Yep.
Done with 1.
Go
Alright,
down.
cool.
Stop running, coward.
We're taking fire.
Alright, now we just need to take care of the vault dropper.
Oh, Tommy's.
Where are the Tommies?
Tommy's down. Yeah, Vault. Why? How is he still up?
Playing on for dear life, that's for sure. Go! Yes!
Woo!
I hit him
I
with
was
the.
getting a bit worried there. Like, why isn't he fucking dead? Alright, 1 level to go. We can do it quick. We should be able to get sub 310, yeah?
Let's finish.
Yes, yeah.
So this one, fast shooting, yeah, reload legs, fast shooting stuff, machine gun turret and placement, and repair turret.
Roger.
Oh, I just don't know if sub 3 hours is possible, because, like, you got Volcano and some of the other levels, they just take up so much time.
Yeah.
That's alright.
Got a lock on Farnsworth's location.
We're getting it down.
Sure to have something standing in the way.
Alright.
Get there and finish this.
Alright, modify core, chassis, legs, quick load, emplacements, and alright, I am ready. Alright, Crabs. Sorry I didn't reply to you before, dude. I apologize. I have been.
You got a machine gun turret?
Oh, hang on. I have.
Oh, reload legs! I didn't do reload legs. I knew I forgot something. Quick load. Right, you good?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Let's do it. Get to the front line!
Sakura, it's okay. Like, Australian teachers don't really pay attention to bullying either.
No, they don't.
No, you just...
Vladimir, is that
But, Crabs, thank you. I will see you tonight. I should be live tonight. I'll have a mini nap after stream.
The network of light and truth. I am the flesh stream in the center of the universe.
Oh, my arm. Is this it? Is this how it ends?
the center of a fruitcake to me, Vlad?
You are merely a glitch in the signal, Brad. And the time has come to tune you out for good.
Alright, let's do this, homie.
Reload when it goes blue. Ready for a good. And then shoot, yep. Rinse, repeat.
God damn.
Yeah, if it goes blue, reload. and be ready.
You guys are cool. You don't see us being bullied. Oh, dude. Australian bullies are relentless. Because Australians have we generally have like a carefree, we don't give a fuck attitude. When it comes to our bullying, it needs to be something we know is going to hurt the person, because half the time we don't give a fuck.
Reload. Middle. Nice, reload. Left. Nice.
You son of a bitch.
Harry in the last phase drops the turrets and shit down. Nice clean up of the knobs. Oh, I forgot there's some on my side. I'm gonna put down a repair turret next to us. Ha 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 ha.
I was a fool to ask you to join me, Frank. I see now that the broadcast was wasted. So after I dispense with these wind-up toys of yours, I will find you, grab you with his arms, and wring the broadcast out of you like water from a rag.
Marine, why haven't you shut this?
I hope that turret was repairing us all the way through that.
Yep.
I gotta do my legs again. You might have to do the same.
Shoot the balls. Show. There we go.
How are you going for health?
I'm halfway.
Okay, I might go down.
Oh, yeah, look,
I'm
me.
down.
Okay. Oh, wow.
No! Oh no!
Oh.
Oh shit!
Hang on. We can still recover.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Fuck. What do we do? Apart from doing it again, of course.
We can still recover.
Maybe. Okay. When he's doing the beam, maybe move and dodge
Yeah.
because we can't tank it as much. That's all right. Fuck it.
All
it's
right.
fine.
In we go. Let me choose the level.
Get ready.
A ship is being built at the dry dock, which contains everything.
All right, I'm ready.
Up. Damn, that's rough. Oh no!
Wait, what?
What did you click? Or what did I click? Oh fuck.
Abandoned mission.
Abandoned mission. We might have to rejoin each other. Oh dear.
What is going on?
Yeah, what the fuck? Okay, you gotta invite me in.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Invited.
Accepting.
Farnsworth.
You got the level?
Okay, well, let me select it. Yep.
Alright, so yeah, we'll move with the beam. Move with the beam.
All right.
Wow, we just got fucking humbled.
Vladimir, is that you in there?
I am everywhere, Frank. I span the world on a network of light and truth. I am the flesh stream in the center of the universe.
Just don't want to listen to him every time.
Looks like you're just the old nut in the center of a fruitcake to me, Vlad.
You are merely a glitch in the signal, Frank.
Shut up, Farnsworth. Because of you, we're not gonna PB. Pick up the scrap. Pick up the scrap.
Alright, so now we go mobile. We'll just roam around, dodge the shit, kill the mobs. Okay, yeah, dodge the zaps, dodge the beam, because we can't tank it like we can with 3 people. Alright, legs.
Come on, you dick.
Left. He's beaming the middle. And legs.
This shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Alright, be ready to move. Knobs incoming. I got right. Clear.
Clear.
See, I think that's what as well. I didn't get the knobs on my side. That's right. We learn.
We did.
I see now that the broadcast was wasted on you.
They really are. Bullies everywhere are brutal.
After I dispense with these wind-up toys of yours, I will find you, grab you with his arms, and wring the broadcast out of you like water from a...
Shut up.
Marine, why haven't you shut this freak up yet?
I'm trying. Keep getting dragged into shitty cutscenes.
Getting attacked from the air. Shredder gun will help peel off some extra scrap from those tubes. Since they're off of me. Taking damage. We're taking fire.
Oof.
Keep an eye on where his beam goes next, because we're going to dodge it.
Yep.
This is hectic. Come on. Oh. 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 Up. Ball time. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh. Oh, stay away from those. Dodge the blue. He'll laser, and then it'll be ball time. Get ready to hit that shit.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm down.
No! Oh God! Oh God!
Ow!
I need a repair arm down here. Getting attacked from the air.
Stop being a dick.
Peel off some extra scrap from those tubes.
Where's he gonna be? Oh, beam! Beam! Run! And shoot!
I'm about to go down again.
It's alright, we got him.
Okay.
Woo!
Ooh.
I'm smelling diesel.
Jesus Christ! Fucking hell, that's rough with two.
Yeah, a little bit.
Blast. It's over.
Jeez Louise. Alright. Well, 310 is still good.
Yep. Solid.
Jesus!
You lost.